Go ghost and upgrade your life in silence. This is easily one of the most important concepts that I learned as a young man, and it's dramatically just skyrocketed the progress that I've been able to make, not only in my personal development, but also some of the goals that I wanted to reach for. Pretty much it's just isolating yourself and not allowing yourself to engage in a lot of the, normal pleasures that normal people do. It's just locking yourself in kind of like a psychopath and making sure that you make so much progress and so much faster than you otherwise would have. Now, in case you don't know who I am, I'm Neal, and I've been on self-improvement for quite a while, and I've made the transformation from being a complete loser to actually starting to win in life, and things are only getting better from here. So if you want to take some of my advice, if you're like a guy who's kind of struggling in life and you're suffering unnecessarily, I have some advice for you that may be able to help you to get out of the rut that you're in right now. So one of the reasons that I believe that every man should just go through this period of going ghost and, kind of just isolating himself generally. I know that may sound kind of bad, but there's a reason that you need to do this. The thing is, when you're out just doing a whole bunch of other things, you're hanging out with friends, you're, going to parties, doing whatever it is you do throughout your normal day, it's just taking up so much brain power and so much focus that you could be putting in and focusing on the few key areas that would dramatically improve the quality of your life. Think about it this way. Your brain only has a certain capacity. There's only so many, it's kind of limited in some ways. When you're spreading your focus too wide, when, you're hanging out with friends, when you're going to party, when you're playing video games, doing all these maybe degenerate habits and whatnot, some of the things might not even be bad. Sometimes hanging out with friends isn't that bad. Sometimes going out, it can be a fun social thing. It's not really bad for you, but it's just taking focus away from the thing that would actually make the most progress in your life. If you, there's just so many things, whatever the most important thing in your life is, basically, whatever would make the most difference in your life if you were just to improve it. When you can focus all your energy on doing that, not only are you going to achieve that much faster, but you're going to be able to do it more efficiently, more effectively. When I was on self-improvement, kind of in the early days, I was still hanging out with some of my older friends. We would just do things play video games, watch anime, just chill out, smoke weed, stuff like that. But even though I was doing my self-improvement stuff, even while I wasn't with them, in my own time, I'd be doing all this nice self-improvement stuff, exercising, reading books, and all that stuff. I realized the sheer difference between the times when I would do that and be hanging out with them versus the time where I would just solely be focusing on my improvement. It's not a linear thing. It feels it's an exponential rate of progression because, again, your brain is just completely focused on the improvements that you're making. Imagine it like this. Imagine you're a psychopath and you just lock yourself in this white room with nothing else to do except for improve. If you were to do that for, say, a week or a month or, whatever period of time, the progress that you are going to make is so much faster and exponentially more effective because your brain is just solely focused on that one thing. There's nothing else to think about. You're not thinking about some drama that was happening between your friends, in your meantime. You're not thinking about, just some random thing, maybe this story in anime or, this video game and how to, go about beating this boss the next time that you play the game. No, your brain is solely focused on these few key areas of your life that are meant to improve the quality of your life, essentially. When you go through these periods, your brain just becomes so much more focused and it's not scattered. It's really a big difference, and you can only really understand it once you go through this period where you just isolate yourself, you go ghost, and you upgrade your life in silence. Now, a reason that I say to upgrade your life in silence is because the hard truth about it, and it's a hard pill to swallow at first, is that a lot of the people that you know, the friends that you have right now, they're just not going to understand it. I was having a conversation with one of my really good friends, and we were kind of talking about some of the things that we were doing or that we would do when we weren't hanging out. It's kind of just a, whatever conversation. I was telling him about this book that I was reading by this really successful guy. He was in real estate and he was pretty much just giving out this life advice. I was telling him about it, and I was like, oh yeah, what do you think about that? Like, do you read any books, or, do you have any online mentors? Like, do you watch YouTubers, something like that? He was like, nah, not really. Like, all of that stuff is just a scam. And when I heard that, I kind of realized that it kind of like clicked for me that we just weren't on the same wavelength. Like, I'm not trying to like shit on him or anything. It's just, I kind of realized that we weren't on the same path. We weren't on the same wavelength, because I was this kind of person who I was like so committed to like my self-improvement. I really wanted to like become a better version of myself, learn all these things that I could. And I just started to realize like, yeah, this friend that I made a long time ago, who like we kind of, met and bonded because of like friends, or because of like video games and drugs and whatever. As far as self-improvement goes, like, we're not compatible like that. And the thing is, for like 99% of the guys watching this, like the friends that you grew up during your childhood, or, that you met in school, most likely you ended up bonding with each other, like over these kind of degenerate bad habits. Like, it could be you made friends and like really bonded because of video games, or, anime, or watching some show, or, smoking weed, alcohol, whatever it is for you. And most likely what's going to be the case is that when you start getting into self-improvement, you're just not going to be able to take them with you. Now, that's fine. We shouldn't judge them. We shouldn't criticize them for, staying in these bad habits and whatever, but it's important to accept that they are where they are right now, and that if they don't want to change, that's completely fine. That just means that you have to go on, and you have to go on this path alone right now. That's what I did, and I've been able to make a lot of progress. Kind of sucks sometimes, because, you kind of want to take your friends with you, but it's just not always possible. So yeah, it kind of is what it is. You've got to go ghost and upgrade yourself, because, man, sometimes I wish there was another option, but it kind of just is how like the game is played. If you keep hanging out with your friends like so frequently, if you keep doing all of these like extra things that aren't related to your goal or your personal development, all of that wasted time, all of that wasted like brain and like energy, you're just not going to make the progress that you need to be making. And when you look back, if you're anything like me, you're going to kind of be like, damn, I wish I had like spent and invested that time more wisely. So, by the way, since you've gotten this far into the video, I can tell that you're like kind of serious about your self-improvement. You actually do want to develop yourself. Like, all the other people have just gone and clicked off the video by now. They're just doing something else. I don't know what. But, since you're like so serious about your self-improvement, I think that it would be, a nice thing for you to join our Discord community. It's pretty much this group of guys very similar to you who are just on the self-improvement path. They want to just upgrade themselves, become the better version of themselves. And sometimes being on self-improvement can be lonely, but just being in that small community, knowing that there's other people like you on the same, like, or similar path as you, it can just kind of be a nice thing. So you can join for free if you want to. It would be the first link in the description, or second, I don't know. It's somewhere in the description, but yeah.